Welcome to Dan's On Site with Dan Dutton and Dan Goaley, a podcast and YouTube show dedicated to all things real estate, delivering market information, interviews from all perspectives, and tips for everyone involved in or interested in real estate. We'd love to hear from you. Dan's at dansonsite.com. Hey, welcome to Dan's On Site. Today, we're in a little bit different setting. We are down in Kansas City on a tour, and we thought, well, while we're in Kansas City, maybe we should talk a little bit about the Kansas City market. But you might be asking yourself, what in the world are you guys doing in Kansas City? And that's where we go back to the announcement we teased a few days ago. Goaley, you want to tell them why we're down in Kansas City?
Absolutely.
Your big announcement?
My big announcement. Dan Dutton and I, we made a goal a long time ago to really expand, and a lot of clients are pushing us through the region, if you will. And so I went ahead and secured a broker's license for the state of Missouri. So that makes us 5 states, I believe.
5 states? Is that how many states?
5 states. So
wow.
5 states so far.
We're street legal in 5 states.
Street legal in Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Kansas, and now Missouri.
So we're down in Missouri. We're actually in Kansas today.
Well, we drove through Missouri.
We drove through Missouri. But we're in Kansas today, in Kansas City, Overland Park to be exact. On a tour, looking for space. We thought we come down to Kansas City often enough. We thought you guys might like a little overview of what the market down in Kansas City looks like. So let's jump into it, Dan. Let's talk about the industrial market. What's happening in the industrial market?
Well, industrial Kansas City is the whole metro Kansas, or the Missouri side or Kansas side is known as a lot of industrial hub. And one of the things in looking at the markets and kind of seeing where we are and the trends of industrial seems to be the distribution side of it all. And so if you start up kind of through the Midwest of Blair, Nebraska, they're announcing a huge distribution center up there for Dollar General, several 100,000 square feet. And then you come down to Nebraska. They just recently announced on Highway 50 and 370 the Amazon distribution center, several 100,000 square feet as well. Well, down here in out by the Kansas Speedway, so on the Kansas side, they're just going to roll out a 880,000 square foot distribution center for Urban Outfitters. And so when you hear the retail is dead and everything else, well, there's a reason why they're building these big industrial cubes, as they're called, is to help us in the Midwest get product that much quicker. When we talked about it before in a previous episode, New York is day of, Chicago day of in certain products when you're ordering something from Amazon. Now, if you look, basically Nebraska all the way down into Kansas, we have full-on distribution centers ready to get that product to all of us that much faster.
Well, industrial is the hottest market.
Yeah, no
and
question.
Looks to stay the hottest market for the time being. So let's jump into office. What's the office market down in Kansas City look like?
Office, is like anything else we're talking about. It's the big misnomer. We really don't know. I mean, if you asked 10 different brokers or developers or office owners, you're probably going to get about 15 different answers. Office, the upside, or we'll start with that. The upside is there's creative planning, and they're basically a locally based here in Kansas wealth management office, and they have it's a 335,000 square foot campus, so it comes out in 3 phases. Their most recent phase is going to be 105,000 square feet, and so when you look at wealth planning, that's quite the campus. What we're seeing as well on the downturn is what we call net absorption. And so I don't know if you want to give
How do you explain what net absorption is? Is that where you're going?
Well, because I could say it, and I'm sure yours will be different.
The truth of the matter is everybody's is different. Everybody figures net absorption different. But basically think of it as how much space was leased versus how much space was given up during a quarter or during the time period you're looking at. So if you're positive, that means more space was leased. If you're negative, that means more space was vacated.
Yeah, it's down here. It's Kansas City's probably 2.5 times the MSA of what Omaha would be, and they're over 1 million negative absorption, which means why is there a negative? It could be there's certain people trying to figure out if they want to work from home It could be a downsize of some of these corporations. It could be a number of things. But right now they're kind of on the opposite trend of growth, if you will, is the easiest way to probably say it, on the office side.
Yeah, and listen, like Mark said, you got to have a crystal ball to figure out what's going on there. We'll know a lot more about the office market
till early 2021.
Yeah, at the earliest.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about retail. We're down here for retail today. What's the retail market look like?
Well, it was good to see when we were driving through. We came down through down 29 through downtown Kansas City and kind of worked our way through to kind of do our own little market tour. And it's good to see that, there are some people open. We're not seeing a lot of shuttered doors. Retail's retail. I mean, it's kind of like office, other than the fact that retail is just kind of its own little beast. Really what is going to go on, how are things going to trend every 5 or 10 years or so. There's a revitalization or recreation of what retail really means. What we are seeing, though, is on the food, the restaurants. They are staying strong. I believe it's Whataburger is one of the ways, one of the concepts that's coming into town and really looking to expand.
Yeah, Torchy's Tacos just opened their first location. We're down here looking for restaurant space. So it's amazing. You get beat up about retail. We get beat up about restaurants during COVID. There are still, the guys that are most active are probably the restaurants right now. That's the reason we're down here. The ones that are opening up in Kansas City. Retail is kind of the same story all across the nation, and Kansas City is no different than Omaha or Des Moines, the other markets we talked about. So that's the brief overview of Kansas City. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, dansonsite.com. Find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. Dan's on Site. You got a market you want us to go to next?
Yeah, I have my thoughts on where we're going to get licensed.
Why don't you? We want to hear from you. Tell us, where should Mr. Goaley go get licensed next? Where should we do market reports from next? So as always, Mr. Goaley,
thank you very much for watching and listening.
I'm Dan Dutton. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us. Find us on Facebook, at YouTube, Dan's On Site. All your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. We would love it if you hit the subscribe button and also leave us a review. Reach us at dansonsite.com.